Hi, my name is Leslie. I live here in Haverhill, and I'm a big fan of Emmaus and all that they do to help with the homelessness problem in our community. So when they asked if I could give a tour of my backyard for their online auction, I said sure. So come with me and you can see my backyard. So it was a long winter, and then we've had our quarantine for 3 months. It has been great to get outside and be with my flowers. These are my roses. They are red, they're climbing roses. They're just starting to open up. I think you see one over there. One of the things that I learned during my time here at home is that because we can't run out to the store to just get whatever we need, whatever we want it, we have to make do. So when I came out and noticed that my roses were covered with aphids that were eating the buds, I did some research and found out that you can mix Dawn with water, spray it on your roses, and it will kill the aphids. So that's what I did. So hopefully now I'll have beautiful roses without aphids. These are clematis. They are purple and they will bloom after the roses. They will cover the entire trellis. So I call this my driveway garden for obvious reasons. It's along the driveway. It is not very big, but it gets really strong morning sun. So if you have a garden, a perennial garden, that you need sun. So I have here my lilac tree, which, believe it or not, is actually held together by rope, because in one of these early storms it broke, and it has survived. So I cut it back every year, and here it is. Inside, what you can't see is there is a little bird's nest. This is a robin's nest, but it does have, I believe, a cowbird chick in it, which I could tell you about later. So here we go. We walk in down the driveway. These are one of my favorite things because they're edible. These are chives. Those are chive blossoms. If you ever want to impress someone with your quiche, throw some chive blossoms on it. They're very pretty. So we're actually going into my backyard now. This is a tree that's in the willow family. It gets huge. I have to hack it back every year. And here we have perennials on both sides. You have some iris, some zebra grass. We have all kinds of different things over here. I would give my one piece of advice for anyone who wants to start a perennial garden is to be patient. When you buy these plants, they're tiny and they will grow. So when it says you need 36 inches for this plant, you need to leave 36 inches. Otherwise, the next year, everything is so jammed in that you'll have to be moving things, dividing. So if you're looking for some instant gratification, you can put in an annual mixed in with your perennials, and then you'll have some instant color while you wait. So here we have our patio, where we spend lots of time. You can see the floor is covered with helicopters. This is that time of year where they're going to just keep coming down from the trees. We have my delphinium, which is brand new this year, and it's looking pretty good. So I don't know about you, but we have noticed that there are a lot of different birds this year. Maybe it's just because there's fewer cars on the road that there are more birds around. But we have seen a lot of different birds. We've seen 3 different kinds of woodpecker, including the pileated woodpecker, if that's how you say it. It's much bigger. The downy woodpecker and the red-breasted woodpecker. We've had hummingbirds already, which is super exciting. The Carolina wren, the Baltimore oriole, which I actually put out orange slices for because they love that. We have the catbird, which sounds like a cat when it makes a noise, and the cowbird, which I mentioned before. The cowbird is a different kind of bird in that it's considered a parasite. It lays its egg in another bird's nest so that that mother bird will hatch and take care of its young. So I think that's what's happened, because the robin's nest had 2 little blue eggs in it, but somehow seems to have 3 little chicks. which isn't a good thing, I guess, because the cowbird is a bigger bird and the mother will naturally take care of the bigger, healthier bird first. So we'll see what happens. But it's exciting to have different birds in the yard. One way that we make them comfortable is with the running water in our fountain. They absolutely love that. They take baths in it every day. So another new bird to our neighborhood were starlings. And I was really happy to see them. I didn't know anything about starlings, and they're very pretty. They're black, kind of iridescent with yellow beaks. And first there were a couple, then there were 3, then there were 8, then there were 10. They make a lot of noise, more noise than we actually wanted to hear at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I was able to get them to leave my yard by changing from my high-end, expensive, no-mess bird seed to the inexpensive, buy it in bulk bird seed. It does make a mess, but the starlings don't like it. So that is what I have switched to. So if we come over here, we can see the side yard. These are called Solomon seal, and they are a great plant that takes up lots of room. They're easy to grow. You don't have to do any work. And believe it or not, their little flowers are edible. They taste like peas, and you can put them in your salad. They're very pretty, and you can eat them. I've got some azalea. And pink fairy roses that will bloom a little bit later in the season. We have a Weigela and a very tall lilac. And this would be my fence garden, also aptly named. Right here we have one plant that is a climbing hydrangea. I have been told that it could eventually take down my fence, but that has not happened yet, so I love it. I think it's beautiful. These are Japanese iris. They are getting ready to bloom. This is supposed to be a miniature what's it called? A rhododendron. This is supposed to be a miniature rhododendron. We have very good dirt, so nothing is ever miniature here. My big advice on rhododendrons is it is not actually a good foundation garden. Don't put it against your house. It is better off on its own on a fence, something like that. I have 2 different colored mountain laurel. Okay, so a good trick for filling up really shady areas is to use houseplants. So for my window boxes here, under this humongous tree where it gets very little sun but does have light, I put houseplants. And one of the benefits of that is that I get to bring it in the fall and add it to the jungle that is my house in the winter. So back here is my least structured garden. It gets very little sun. So bleeding heart, hostas, they kind of take over at a still bee, and they just are, they're beautiful and they are not any kind of work at all. And I will end here at my fire pit, which is a great place to spend either a cool evening or a hot day, because of course, under this tree is the coolest place to be. So I would just like to say thank you to Emmaus for all that they do. Cheers to everyone who's working so hard to keep us safe in the middle of these trying times. Please go and donate to Emmaus. Thank you.